This is a short video so you can see my collection of guitar pedals. I hope you enjoy it. If you're interested in this type of thing, then please check my other videos where you can see a lot of these things being demonstrated. So let's start over here. Okay, here's two tape echo machines. The first one there is a solid state WEM copycat from the 70s, and next to it is a valve driven Watkins copycat from the 60s there. Both sound great. You can still pick these 70s ones up quite easily. You see them on eBay quite often. Really worth getting a hold if you can get them for the right price. Good machines. Here's some DIY pedals that I've put together. There's a fuzz face and another fuzz box, a treble boost, a compressor there. Next door to that's a Boss Chorus Ensemble, the vintage one. You might have seen the video I've done for that one already. Across the back here's the first of two pedal boards that I've currently got made up. That's an original TS9 tube screamer there, a Nobles tremolo, which is great. Two Boss delays there, digital and analog, and a Dodd preamp there, that's a volume booster. And in the back there, that's the Voodoo Vibe Roger Mayer thing. That's a really good pedal. That's worth a video on its own. I'm going to do that one soon. Roger Mayer, of course, was the guy who did the pedals for Hendrix, so we'll take a look at that. Down here is the second pedal board. That's a Whammy 2 pedal there I use for split, for octave bending really. I don't really use the harmonising thing. A couple of distortions. That's an original 808 tube screamer and a Marshall Shredmaster, a cheap tuner there, stage tuner. That's been going for about 25 years. And there's two Line 6 modelling pedals, the modulation and the delay, which I think are pretty good for live use. Certainly more convenient. I don't think they sound as good as the analog equivalent, but they're pretty handy. And there's a modern classic there, I really like that, the Digitech Synth War, which is an envelope filter. That's a good pedal, I think still make them now. And an MXR micro amp. So let's go up to the second shelf, see how we'll get on there. Some MXR pedals now. That's a Distortion Plus and 2 Phase 90s. One's been modified with a little switch there for intensity. A micro flanger, that's a very good pedal. And a little graphic. On to some Boss pedals now. That's the Boss bass flanger, which works really good on guitar, especially if you play sort of high gain rock music. That's a pretty good flanger. The original, that was one of the first pedals I had, the original BF2. There's another good modern classic. That's an Ibanez phase modulator. Get them while you can. Some Ibanez pedals there. That's a Ibanez Sonic Distortion there, which looks a bit like a tube screamer, but it's not. A super tube screamer on the end. Some electro harmonic stuff. There's an Echo Flanger, a Clone Theory Chorus, which is great. Memory Man analog delay, another Echo. An Octave multiplexer, which I believe used to belong to the band Wishbone Ash. That's what I was told anyway. A Memory Man there, stereo, and a deluxe Memory Man, but that hasn't got the original knobs. Who cares? A Dodd Classic Fuzz and a Mike Matthews Soul Kiss. That's a plastic wah-wah thing, well, it's sort of mouth operated. It's a bit crazy. A couple of electro harmonics, mainly electro harmonics now. Originals, these aren't reissues. That's a Russian big muff there. That was one of the first Russian big muffs. Attack equalizer, that's like a parametric. Bardstone phaser, Mistress, a couple of battery powered electric Mistresses, and a rare early compressor. That's a Black Finger compressor by Electro Harmonics. More across the back. Some big muffs on the end there. Oops. And that's a golden throat. That's a mouth box thing, similar to a Healy torque box. Weighs about half a ton, but it's good fun. There's a Vintage Rat reissue, great sound, an old fuzz face. It's a silicon version, that one. It's an EBO, and oh, there's a small muff fuzz, which is a distortion thing that plugs directly into the amplifier. Crazy. That's a line 6 distortion modeler there. Pretty good. Fantastic Marshall governor, highly recommended. And that's probably the best fuzz box I've ever heard. That's a Baldwin Burns Buzz Around germanium fuzz, very rare. Marshall Shred Master there. Some Tokai pedals from the 80s. That's the analog delay, overdrive, chorus. Couple of compressors there. And that's an Electro Harmonix worm. In the back is some Love Tone pedals. That's a ring stinger, ring modulator, a wobulator tremolo, doppelganger phaser, and a meatball, which is an envelope filter, a brown sauce overdrive, and big cheese fuzz. That's an Arion phaser and an Electro Harmonix frequency analyzer there. And that's a Vox valve tone, which I believe is extremely similar to a Tube Screamer, circuit wise, and on the end a Grant distortion. There's a Guy Tone tremolo. That's a cheap tremolo pedal, it's not too bad. And behind it is an Echo Man. That's an analog delay, sort of early rack mountable analog delay. Some foot switches there. That's a cheap plastic volume pedal for it to be used as an expression pedal. A Morley fuzz wah with the original 70s dust on it, which is of course a wah wah and a fuzz, but it's sort of, I think it's powered by an LED light rather than by a pot, which is unusual. That's a Electro Harmonix second version of the Big Muff there, the Ram's Head version. A K tremolo, and that's a Carlsboro wah wah made by Colour Sound there. It's lost the label off the front, but it sounds very good. That's a heavily modified analog delay, which has been built into a volume pedal so you can move the speed with your foot. A Vox reissue wah, an original 60s Vox wah wah, and two 70s Crybabies there at the end. In the background is an Akai digital delay, which is good, and a Shred-O-Matic. That's a valve powered distortion pedal, a K fuzz tone, a Roland Phase 2, Fender foot switch from the amplifier. That's a professional Mark II tone bender by Solar Sound that's been modified to have an MXR distortion plus built into the same case. And that's a Gen motor phaser, which is kind of like a Leslie simulator. And another plastic volume pedal. No problem with them. They're good to use as expression pedals with line 6 gear and stuff like that. And that's about it. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. This is a working collection of pedals. They don't just sit around gathering dust. I would hate you to think that they're always being gigged, and I've recorded them and stuff like that in studios, and I lend them out occasionally to people if I can trust them. Please don't think they're being wasted somehow. They're not. They're all played, they're all used all the time. And if you've enjoyed this, please check the other videos out and maybe subscribe to my videos if you'd be kind enough. And don't forget, if you've got any old pedals that you don't want, send them over to me at Grahamy's Stompbox Secrets and I'll put them in the museum for you. Thanks very much.